So we're here at the Lava Lab hacking room, right?
Yep.
So who are you?
I'm Dave Piggott. I'm the Lava Lab lead for Linaro.
I'm Tyler Baker. I'm the tech lead for the Lava software team.
So here at the Linaro Connect, Linaro announced new project right here.
Yeah, this is the 96 Boards project. It's a reference platform community board, and we've just announced it this week. We've handed some out.
All right, so we can see around it a little bit. So this is a very compact board.
Yep.
With a 64-bit, affordable 64-bit stuff. So what's going to happen with Lava with this?
Well, obviously there's got to be some integration into the Lava. Every time we get a new device, then we have to work out how we're going to integrate it into Lava, so it's a black box, so there's no sort of special stuff you have to do to run a test on it. And once we've got to that point, we're going to start deploying. I don't know the numbers yet, but I'm hearing frightening numbers.
96 of them?
I would
Probably
hope.
more than 96.
Yeah.
Probably more than 96.
Yes.
So basically they're very compact, and so you can fit many of them in a rack.
In a rack, yeah, because what we do is we'll have one new shelves, and we'll probably get like 6 or 8 on a single shelf.
Since they're so small, they can be packed in there very densely.
Yeah.
So that will be very nice.
Octa-core, 64-bit, ARM Cortex-A53.
Correct, yeah.
Correct.
And so what do you connect to it when you do a Lava Lab installation?
Well, the first thing is we need some sort of serial connection, and for testing Linaro confectionery release, you need some sort of ADB USB connection. Obviously, you need power. This board was designed specifically to get around some of the problems we see with boards, which is it will power on boot.
Yes. Even with the USB cable connected.
Yeah. So the serial will come off this header. So there's a UART output on there. Power in there, obviously, and then we'll take USB out, and we will then also put a USB Ethernet dongle in and trail that out. So you have 4 cables coming off of each one. That's going to be a fun cabling exercise.
and that's why I've made the mounting bracket for this, so that cables don't pull the board around and it slides across the desk.
We actually have a Linaro standard mounting bracket now.
Yes.
So
this rack is for which kind of boards?
This was actually initially was an IFC 64 plexiglass plate that I've cross drilled for the HiKey board.
So that's the Qualcomm Enforce.
That's correct, yeah. And so what's neat about the HiKey board is that you have low speed and high speed I/O. So you have the high speed I/O for MIPI based peripherals like LCD panels, cameras, those kind of things, which is really nice to have on a reference board. A lot of them. The low-end reference boards don't have that, so I think that's a key feature.
That can be used for SATA also, right?
I don't believe so. No, it's
no.
Yeah, 2-lane MIPI, and then it's got a CSI DSI for a panel.
yeah.
Okay.
The interesting use cases for this board is first off, there's an upstreaming effort underway to upstream the support of the Linux kernel. So we'll be doing that upstream testing as those patches are merged. The other interesting use cases is we'll be testing Debian and Ubuntu variants on it, and then as well as Android. So multiple distributions and then the upstream kernel. So that's kind of what we're going to be focusing our effort as far as testing goes.
I mean, the other thing we're probably going to end up doing with this is there's HDMI on there.
Yep.
So we will have HDMI out. The intention is to use a video capture card so that within Lava we can actually test the video out.
Which video capture card you will use?
We haven't chosen yet.
So there are some probably that will be suitable out there.
Yeah.
And just connect them to HDMIs.
Yep.
To a bunch of HDMIs.
Sorry. Yeah.
Let's just show how much the size. So there's a 5.5-inch cell phone.
Is it a Xiaomi?
Yeah, this is the Note.
Note.
So you can see the different size difference here.
Xiaomi Note.
Yes, that's correct.
Cool. Is that your phone?
Yeah, I just picked it up here at the Hong Kong Computer Arcade.
How much?
It's $160 US.
That's a good price for a Note.
Yes, so let me say this right now. I'm going to leave my Galaxy Note 3 behind and use this phone. It's very impressive.
Yeah, Xiaomi is pretty cool. So 96 boards. That's going to be a lot of boards, and you're just going to put them all in Lava?
Yeah, we've got racks set aside for them intentionally, because obviously we were aware of this coming down.
Yeah.
But that's just the first one, right? How about all the other ones coming?
Well, so this is going to be a staged deployment. This is we will have in the first deployment probably 10 boards, and then when new boards come out, new silicon vendors produce new boards, then we'll be adding those boards. So it's not 96 of the HiKey. It will be in total. I keep saying 96, but you know what, it's going to be more. But we will have a selection of them, and when we get the server architectures, there'll be again like 10 at a time, something on that order.
So this is in Cambridge?
Yes, all in the Cambridge lab.
And so have you been moving around or always the same place?
Yeah, so we recently moved. We went on November the 3rd of last year.
Because you're expanding?
We're expanding. So the lab was full. We had 10 racks and we really didn't have room for any more. So we've moved to a new facility where we have room for up to 30 racks. And when we got in there, we made sure we filled it out with enough racks to start taking these, and we're now up to 15 racks. So we're half full already.
So is it going to be big enough for how long?
Well, I think the new lab move has really given us a lot of room to grow. And
Yeah,
so
we actually have more space than
For
that
now.
in that we
For
have
now,
empty
right?
racks. Sorry?
For now?
For now, yeah.
well, you see, the ARM boards are getting smaller; they're not getting bigger.
Yeah,
That means we can put more
we can
in.
just put more.
Yeah. All right, but they stay forever, right? Because support continues?
There's some older, ARM v5 platforms and stuff that we've retired. We still track the upstream support on them as much as we can, but sometimes they'll fall out of support upstream, and usually that's when we go ahead and retire them.
But we're still running Panda boards in the farm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about the high silicon D02 is coming soon?
Yes, I'm supposed to leave here with one.
With one, the
Yes,
first?
I'm supposed to carry it on the plane.
That's going to be good.
Yeah,
That's one of the very first early ones.
It is, yeah.
It's very important for Lava to get it early.
Yeah, well, that's for developers, right? So that they can have access to the boards and they can test their kernels and they can test the user space tools and the different virtualization technologies that board will enable.
So basically, who's using Lava? So is it a whole bunch of who?
A lot of it is our continuous integration effort. So we have jobs which are submitted on a regular basis to check that we haven't broken anything, that development, I mean, that's a daily basis thing. There's a huge matrix of things that have to be tested and they get automatically submitted. But there are also individual users who are submitting jobs to test their kernels, any of their kernel changes, and a lot of those individual users you can look through the validation website, and it's got their name on it, but they're actually also using an automated process. So when they make a change, it automatically gets submitted. Various different def configs of the kernel get submitted, and you see a whole load of jobs turn up. And so I would say number of different users is probably of the order of a few tens of people.
Yeah.
But the number of jobs is in the thousands a day.
Yeah, we're currently, I just looked this morning, 260,000 jobs through Lava in the Cambridge lab, which is it's quite an achievement to get there.
With 115 actual devices available in the production Lava, and then there's also our staging instance where we check that code is going to work and all that sort of stuff.
And the Lava system that you've developed, right, is being used by a bunch of guys, by a bunch of companies. Like I guess Huawei has one.
Huawei has one. Cyanogen Mod. They use Lava.
They like it?
Yes. Collabra does.
Yep.
ARM does
Yep.
as well. TI is beginning to use it. So we're starting to see our member companies and even companies outside of Lenaro begin to embrace it. And what I'm personally very happy to see, we're in Debian, so we have packages in Debian, and it's much easier to install now, and that's inspiring a lot of community contributions. So we're getting patches from not only our members but members of the community, and that really helps make the system better.
And I think that shows the maturity of Lava in itself, in that we've actually packaged it.
Yes.
And that makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
And having it accepted by Debian and in as a package it shows that it's at a level that can be used in a more sort of broad sense.
So that means it's hard to know how many people are using it because there's so many.
Well,
maybe.
Debian does have a package installation metric system, but it's not mandatory to do.
But you don't know how many use each of them, right?
Yes. So it's tough to say. It's tough to estimate.
All right, that's cool.
No.